Alright, so new guitar unboxing video in bed with guitars. This is going to be an unboxing of a guitar that I just bought. I was talking about in my last episode. This should be a Epiphone Les Paul Studio. I think it's a LT. They also called it an E1. Now this box has some dents and stuff. It even has a hole in one side, but it was supposed to be here Friday, and FedEx decided to not drop it off. Now there's an adventure behind that. The FedEx driver, okay, first off, FedEx updated saying that it was on the truck out for delivery. It said it would be here between, like, I think it was 10 and noon. That's what it was, between 10 a.m. and noon. That was Friday. It didn't get here at noon, and then they updated it and said that it would be here before 8 or something, by the end of the day. And eBay must not know FedEx's hours, because eBay says before 9 p.m. But after talking to the FedEx customer service hotline, they actually don't deliver after 8 p.m. So I see the truck pull up about 6-ish. I go out to the porch. I watch the driver. The truck's stereo is booming super loud. Then I see the driver. He's sitting in the seat in the front of the truck. A few minutes go by. He goes into the back of the truck. I'm thinking, okay, he's going to get my guitar and bring it to me. Quite a bit of time went by, probably 5 or 6, 7 minutes. Then he gets back in the front of the truck, and then he takes off. And I'm just like, well, where's my guitar? He didn't give me my guitar. And then I look at the truck, and the back door on the truck is wide open. Like, he didn't even close the back door of the truck. And I'm looking at all these packages. There's, like, you know, just tons of boxes just right there in the back of this truck. And I'm thinking they could be flying out of the back of this truck. So I called customer service. I got the customer service computer, AI, whatever it is, and it didn't understand what I was trying to say. And eventually, you know, because it couldn't connect me to anyone, it hung up on me. I called the second time and I told him, look, a driver just drove away with the door open on the back of the truck. Then they connected me to a real person. The whole time I'm saying I need to talk to an agent. So they connect me to a call center. It's a nice Indian woman who says, oh, no, that's definitely not allowed. She goes, it's been reported immediately and you should be getting your package today. Like it says, I didn't get my package. The next day it said it would be here, and it was weird hours. It was like between, I think it said like 12, it said 12:40 and 2:40. And then it didn't come, and it didn't come throughout the day. Sunday, it didn't come. I actually looked up and it said FedEx does deliver on Sunday, but they didn't update it or anything. Today it said it would be here, but this time it said 12:50 or 2:50, right? And so it finally got here. This is after, let's see, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Today's Monday, 3.5 days late. After telling me every single day there that it was on the truck out to be delivered. So I don't know. I don't know what to expect here. I hope the guitar is a guitar. It's not some kind of, I don't know. But we've got a big smack right here on the front. We've got some smushes here. We've got a straight up hole in the side of the box right here. Now I told the guy about this that I bought this from, and he said that he packaged it extra good so the guitar should be safe. The back of it's not scratched up at all, and I noticed this is a Fender box, so that's cute, right? This is a Fender box, and this is an Epiphone guitar in the Fender box. So right now, unboxing. That's what I'm doing. I'm going to go ahead and hopefully everything's okay in here. Now you might be thinking, oh, it's another Epiphone. Those ain't cheap. You know, they're not expensive, but they aren't cheap. This one was $222. Like I said in the last video, this was $222. That's including shipping and everything. The guy listed it, said it was like new, that he had set it up, and it comes with a relatively nice gig bag. Okay, I'm opening this up. All right. I'm going to go ahead and try to I take all this out here. So this is not a, you know, $1,200, $900, whatever Epiphone. This is a less expensive Epiphone. I really liked how it looked though. That's why I got it. Oops. I talked about this in my last video. That, you know, I really liked how this looked. I smell smoke. So, probably a smoker. Oh yeah, yeah, the inside of the box smells like cigarette smoke. Yes, all of the packing material smells like pretty thick cigarette smoke. No big whoop, I'm not holding that against you. Even I smoked cigarettes long ago. Long ago. But when I smoked rollies too. I liked the cigarettes that you roll by hand. Rollies, I guess is what we called them. Now, no. See if you can see my hands here. Got some leftover bits, and it's in the bag. Okay, some foam in there, and oh goodness, lots and lots of packing stuff. He did pack it, seemed to pack it very, very well. There's the bag. While I'm doing this, I'm stuffing all the stuffing back in the box because I use this to sell on eBay. I use the packing materials. Quite often I use the boxes. This box smells like a pack of Camels. Whatever. Whoa, seriously. This smells like cigarettes. Probably tastes like cigarettes. Okay, box is out the way. Now, this is going to be the In Bed with Guitars new guitar reveal. Really hoping everything's good here. I just got a computer today, so that was good. Alright, let's see here. It's at the top. Oh boy. Okay, here we go. Try to get all this nasty off here. And, wow. Okay. This has got even the original knob protector in there. Usually those are gone or hard to find or broken or eaten. So, you know, we are guitarists. Okay, so judging by the look of it, it does at first glance look good. It's got a lot of weird, like packing, cardboardy, nasty dust all over it. I'm not feeling any damage. Actually, the top of it has two little spots right here. And that could be new. I don't know. The neck has no damage. No visible cracks to the top of the neck in places where you might see them. Definite sharp fret, hanging fret sprout. A slight impact on the 3rd fret, which is no big deal. It sounds like it's almost in tune. Kind of tight knobs. And the knobs, this knob feels like it wants to move. Okay. Yeah, the knobs feel, I don't know, kind of mushy. Okay. I wonder about those 2 dents on the top of it. Whether that's from shipping. They look too precise to be from shipping. If it was in the bag and it had packing material wrapped all around it, for 2 sharp dents on the top right here. So I'm assuming, even though he said it was like new, it actually had 2 tiny dents on the top of it. And a little bit of a scratch there. No, this is not like new. This is like used. It's there's a little bit there. Not complaining yet. So okay. fresh out the box. You saw it. So that was not me. I did not dent this. Judging by the box, it doesn't look like those dents could have happened in shipping, because I think if they did, we would have seen holes specifically at that part. I think these were already there, and here's what I'm talking about. Right here and right here. So yeah, and this was supposed to be like new. Now, it doesn't look like it's been played much. Judging by fret wear, it's been set up, but someone didn't do the fret edges. Okay, I guess the fret edges could be from temperature. Maybe, but I think New York's actually colder. So it says LT on there. I thought the headstock said E1 on these. I need to check the picture, because anyway, see, there's an Epiphone with a bolt-on neck. See if I can get it to focus. See, I'm definitely going to check the pictures. There is a visible scratch here, right along this, and here. It's barely tactile, and it's got a little bit of numbers right here. The stickers are off of it. The neck's seated well. All in all, it looks pretty good. It's been played a little bit, you can tell. It's been set up. I would not go so far as to say that this is like new. Like new usually doesn't have dents in the top, but it was cheaper than one of these are brand new. So that's kind of the trade there, right? So what would I compare this experience to? I would give it a reverb rating. It was like reverb in that many instruments sold on reverb are claimed to be like new, but definitely are not. So this guitar needs at least the fret edges taken care of. There's nothing I can do about the tiny dents in the top, and they're no big deal. I need to look at the pots, because they are slow and squishy pots, and that could just be the type of pots they used. Could be frozen grease. I don't know, like old nasty grease, I guess. And pretty sure the truss rod plate in the pictures said E1, and this one says LT. So that's concerning me right there. So I'm going to look it up. I've saved the pictures, and you know, it's very odd, because that's how it was on the Epiphone website too. It said like E1 or something else on the truss rod cover, but it was sold as an LT. So I definitely need to check that. Okay, so now there are cheaper Epiphones than this. There's the Player Pack series, and what they do is they don't have the carved top. But this one, even though it might be kind of hard to see, it has the carved top. I think these might just need reworked, or possibly whatever, deoxit, not sure. As far as the frets are hanging really bad. They're sharp all the way up the entire neck. These are sharp frets, sharp frets. It's beautiful though. I gotta say, I like it a lot. Now these dents here, see them? I'm probably going to fill those with super glue and sand them, buff them down. And then I can get like a black marker or something and fill it in. But those are, I don't know. You know, it's still, I guess it's like new, I guess, because that kind of stuff can just happen. So, but usually when someone puts like new, you're thinking, oh well. Plus, if there's dents on an instrument, they should be shown in images of it for sale, just so that the buyer is prepared. So in the pictures, none of this side is not shown. Right here, this is not shown in any of the pictures. So those dents were in effect hidden. This looks like a pretty good standard. I do have one I can replace this with that might fit. So I might go ahead and, you know, put a newer, possibly better version of this bridge that's part of the Epiphone Les Paul Standard series on here. So if it's better, I'll test it all out and see. This might not have the locking component. I'll test that out. It's almost in tune, which is weird. It's almost there. It is. It's almost in tune, which is good considering it was probably in a 30-degree truck for the past 4 days. That might even be why it's got that fret sprout. This feels good. It's got the black poker chip. So a decal is going right here. That's what I bought this guitar for. And I'm going to test it first before I stick it. Hopefully I won't just drop it like the last decal. I need to test the instrument. It has the plastic here, and then your output jack. Now the LP100 version of this has different pickups. It also has the scratch plate, and but it looks very much the same. I'm definitely getting the LP100 eventually, and I'd like to get it in black as well. It has different knobs, different pickups, a scratch plate. It does have the carved top. Now, some people call it an arch top, and I think that's okay, but then purists, I think, will immediately think that an arch top refers to a semi-hollow body instrument. So it might be safer to call it a carved top instead of an arch top. And the cheapest of the Epiphones, and of course some cheap, not so cheap studio style guitars are flat instruments. This part is gone. There's no carved top, and they're just totally flat instruments. So I don't like that. That's just, I'm still probably going to get one of these days, just to have and to play, because I really kind of like the Epiphone LP style. This is a really shiny and beautiful instrument. I've noticed some use on the fretboard. There's a slight impact on this side, right there, as you can see. There's just a slight impact here, and I don't like that. It's okay though. And it did say LT in the picture, even though if you look online this will say E1, although it's listed for sale as an LT. This is a inked on. This is not a, that's not a inlay. Les Paul model and cheap tuners. First thing that I'll probably do if I don't like these, which I'll test them out. Usually I'm forgiving of cheap tuners, but in the case of these I might go ahead and get some much better tuners and upgrade it. I'm interested in the Zebra Pups. That was one of the things that attracted me to this over the LP100. And I like the black accents. I like that it's got black frame. The other had the aged white, kind of like this color of one side of the Zebra Pup. Aged white pickup ring, aged white pick guard, and I think that would have clashed with the pure white of the decal that I'm going to put on here. I don't think the Zebra Pups will be so contrasting that it will, definitely, break the color pattern here with this decal. But I think if it had a big scratch plate that was the aged white and rings that were aged white and the poker chip that was aged white, that would probably push it. So we'll see. Okay, so yeah, I've got my work cut out for me here. It needs almost all the frets edged, body polished. It needs the dents in the top fixed. So I'm going to super glue those, buff them down, and then either black marker or paint them. As I said, the knobs are a little bit slow and mushy. I think the heights are wrong. The intonation is out. Not to insult anyone, but it did say that the guy selling this to me said he set it up. He said it was like new, not like new. Set up, not set up. Unless set up means tune the guitar and that's it. I would think setup is intonating the guitar. This instrument is not intonated properly. The impact on the near the nut on the low E side, I don't like. It's no big deal really. It's really just cosmetic, but I just don't like it. And I like the guitar. I like the guitar a lot. It's going to be perfect for what I'm using it for. Also, I noticed I brought my Epiphone bridge off the standard that I have. I don't know if you can see this on the camera, But as I look at this, it looks kind of bright. Then I bring this up here, and this looks different. It doesn't look the same. It looks like a different kind of metal, almost darker, and I'm thinking it could be that this is a higher quality. And honestly, as I'm looking at it, the intonation looks to be the same. Maybe here. Now I checked intonation and the E was on, the high E, but the B and G and D were not intonated properly. And the action on this instrument is ridiculously high. There is room to move the bridge down, but I don't know, maybe this is the style people like to play these with, but it's too high for my liking. I would never intentionally have the action this high on an instrument like this. I know some people think high action is good, but this is too high. The action is too high. And I've noticed there's almost no relief on the instrument. So with the action that high, with the bridge this low, and with it not much relief, to avoid buzzing and stuff, this may be possibly a candidate for a shim. So I might see about shimming. First I'm going to try to lower the bridge. Well, I'm going to replace the bridge. I've got this one that actually is stamped. This one is stamped Epiphone. And when I take this instrument apart, I'm going to check to see if it is stamped Epiphone on the instrument. So if this one is stamped, which it probably is or might be, either way I'm probably going to switch it, just because I think this one off the standard is at very least a slightly higher quality bridge, which probably matters a little bit. And then the stop piece is going to be the same, but I don't know if this has the connectors that snap it into place on the pegs. So that doesn't matter. I don't have a replacement stop piece for this, but I do have a bridge that I can try out. So that's good. I'd like to go ahead and put the decal on it. And so the decal is going to be somewhere on here. I'm thinking this is good because it's more towards the middle, and it, like, the feet kind of interact with the knobs here a little tiny bit. I don't want to mess it up, of course, and I'm really good at shaking and jittering and kind of messing up when I try to do stuff like this, so hopefully I won't. I'm going to go ahead and unplug the cable for now because I don't have any of the stuff turned on, and as I said, this is going to need to be completely taken apart so I can do the neck the right way. I want this neck to be perfect, and I really hope it's not twisted, or as I'm looking at it now, it doesn't look twisted at all. Okay, the first thing I thought, because the action was so high towards the pocket, and I didn't think it was as low on the high E, that there might be a twist in the neck, but I don't think there is. I think it's just the way that this bridge has been set up, or I guess not set up. So when you set up an instrument, it involves intonating the guitar, tuning the guitar, but also I think it depends really on how you view. Okay, in my mind, setting it up an instrument is making it intonated and comfortable to play. And I know that might be beyond what most people consider to be a proper setup, but I would not think that hanging frets are to be left on an instrument when it's meant to be set up to be comfortable to play. So I don't think this guitar was actually set up in the way I would consider it to be set up. It's actually, the string height is way too high. The hanging frets, you know, are terrible. The hanging frets, and if this came from New York, a place that's colder and probably drier than it is here in Indiana, then those hanging frets didn't happen on the way here, I don't think. And it's funny, I told my son to go open the top of the box this came in and sniff it. And he went over and opened it and sniffed it, and he said, "Grandma." Because his grandma smokes incessantly and has advanced osteoporosis and screwed up lungs and has had a stroke and all kinds of surgeries and stuff. And so whenever he smells heavy cigarette smoke, he immediately registers grandma. But I knew he'd either say grandma or he'd say cigarette smoke. Okay, so we're going to try to put this on here. I want it to be perfect, but you know, it's perfect. What is that? And I'm not really, this will be Probably the hardest one of these I've ever tried to apply. But I'm hoping it will work. I think it looks so good. And I want to keep the foot here in between those knobs, just because it's got kind of a 3D effect. But then again, I think her feet, she's supposed to be, yeah. Actually, now that I'm looking at it, I think she's supposed to be more like this. Yeah, I automatically want it to be like this. But actually, I think she's supposed to be, because if I'm looking at her heels, tilted a little bit more this way. So maybe something like that. All right. So, shoo. Here we go. Wait a minute. I guess I put that on and then I peel the top of it off. No. Shoo. All right. Better rub that part in there really good. Okay. Never done anything like this before. That one on my other video just was a skateboard sticker, and it dropped straight down onto the guitar in the perfect spot, miraculously. So this is the first time I've done one of these peel away decals and decals, whatever. I really hope this works right. It's got some raised feel to it. The heels look lined up pretty good. Yeah. Okay. Oh. Oh boy. Okay, I'm going to use the edge of this guitar pick to hopefully attach this. Yeah, I think I remember them like using a scraper or something to fine tune this. My goodness. Really hope this works. Okay. Yeah, it's not all sticking. Great. Oh boy. Wow. I kind of feel like I did that as good as I possibly could. First time for everything, and wow, that's on there now. Now that was a printed Oracle 651 graph foil decal, so this is supposedly not going to come off, and that's on the guitar forever. Okay, so that was the first part. Next up, I'm going to very carefully take apart the instrument and prepare to do the neck work. Okay, so phew, the decal's on. This little tiny piece right here, I noticed there was still white right there, so I had to kind of pick that out with a knife and then use my multi-tool to peel it the rest of the way out. And I've been examining closely to make sure there isn't any more stuff, like the way it was designed. It seems really high quality though. It's on there. I don't know how polish or buff or anything like that will affect this, so I have to be very careful not to ruin this. But it's on there now, and I'm happy with it. So I'm going to have to get to work here. There's going to be taking off the strings and trying out the different bridge. So yeah, I'm going to take off the strings. I'm going to test fit the other bridge and then set the body aside to work on the neck. The neck is the main deal here. Also, there's the two dents in the top of the body that I can fix. There's a very light dent on the neck, but it's nothing. I don't think it's even anything that needs addressed. I think sanding might help to work out some of the top, and I just need to look at this neck. That's the next thing, is just give it a nice good look over. But the main reason I bought it is I wanted this decal to put on a nice black backdrop, and I think it looks excellent. I think it's beautiful. I'll probably buy another one of these to put on a red guitar, because she has red hair and her suit is red, even though I think this was meant to represent the white variant of her suit, because the way the stripes are on it stuff, her last suit she wore in the fourth movie is actually white. So it probably better matches it. But either way, I think with a red guitar, then the red stripe details and then the spacing in between her hair would make it look like red hair. And it would match her original plug suit. So, phase one apply decal is done. So I've got kind of a sticky barrier from where the top, this was a 2-stage decal, as you could see, where you put it down and then you have to affix it. I've seen them in videos use like a scraper across it, and then so I just used a pick edge to kind of scrape, then peeled it off. It seems like it's all there, it transferred well, but then the very edge of where the sticker overlay part was has a bit of a sticky residue left over here at the tip of the foot, on the far edge here, and a little bit up here at the top. So I'm going to have to try to remove that later. For now, of course, as I said, it's just removing the strings. I'm also going to be taking off the neck, and this is a recessed type of neck, so it's going to be neat. Now, as I remove these strings, I actually picked this area for the decal because it was in my mind it was a low traffic zone. But as I'm dealing with this, every time I put strings off or on it, that's actually going to be something to look out for, because I think the edge of a string may be able to damage that. Now, these strings don't seem used very much. I don't know if I should try to reuse these strings or not. I don't know what kind of strings they are. Well, they have a little tiny bit of use, and I don't know, the winding was minimal, so sometimes I like a little more winding. I'd rather have a little more than have, you know, much less. So we have a stamped tailpiece down here, right there, which is probably really blurry on there. Cool stamped tailpiece. That's on there. That's actually attached, unlike the other one that I took off. Yeah, that's well attached. There we go. No shakiness. Now, let's see if the other will fit without finagling. And it wants to. Let's see, there we go. Yes. I think. Maybe not. Okay, no. So, it could be these are slightly wider, and so I'll test the threads. I'll see if the threads match. And if they do, I'll switch these components too. And as I look, I think they're slightly wider. And they are both stamped Epiphone, but they are distinctly different bridges. This is the one from the standard, and it has little dots from the cast, and it seems like a different kind of metal. The one that just came off this has a nice clear writing, but it does kind of look cheaper. It doesn't have the cast bumps and stuff. So, I mean, I can tell which is which just by looking. No problem at all, because the color is different. So we've got the stop piece taken off, and strings are off. I'll go ahead and just check the neck real quick. For unevenness. Now, some guys say check 3 spots. Well, you can. Of course, you can check 3 spots. You can also slide the fret rocker back and forth, and then that's maybe more coverage, but basically, okay, ever tiniest bit might even be taken out by polish. You can check a couple spots, 3 spots, or you can slide your fret rocker up and down the frets. I guess it depends on you. I don't think there's going to be any huge radical rise or dip in your frets to where just checking 3 won't reveal, you know, what you'd be wanting to correct. But you know, it's up to you. I'm sliding this and feeling at the same time. And if anything, there we go, an ever tiniest bit here, and it's so slight that it's, yeah, there we go. This guy might be a little high. Let's switch to this one. So, yeah, just kind of slide and kind of be pushing a little bit as you go. And that's totally fine. Of course, if you got the strings on, yeah, oh yeah, it's a lot easier to just pick 3 spots. There's a little catch right there from some play wear on some of the frets. Okay, so yeah, a little bit of catchiness here. This polishing is going to help. And here's that little tiny dent in the fretboard right there. You know, it might help to put a tiny bit of super glue in there and sand it down, but I don't think that's ever going to cause any problem though as it is. Nice looking fretboard. It's dirty a little bit. I think this guitar has been played a little tiny bit. It's good. It's good that it's had a little bit of love. Okay, so next up we'll remove the neck. So another adventure I had today was I got a Commodore Plus4 computer in the mail. I'm a programmer. I've made a couple of games for the Atari 2600, and I work on games, and I love programming, especially in BASIC. So I'm big into programming in BASIC. And the Plus4 actually has a more advanced BASIC language than the Commodore 64. Now the Commodore 64 has Sprite hardware and sound chip. They have the SID chip, which is extremely good sound, but the Plus4 does not have hardware sprites or sound. It has a noise processor and it has graphics that the chip can do, but it does not have like a SID chip in it. But there are strengths and weaknesses between the two systems. It's completely off subject to be talking about this, you know, while working on guitars. Oh, that's a super tight fit. Whoa. That is the tightest fit. Excellent. Perfection. Flat, super clean. Mahogany. That's really nice. That is what you want to see right there. That is super clean and perfect, super tight fit. Wow. Impressive. I'm impressed by that. Okay, we've got the neck. It says number 12 on it. In marker. The neck is painted and finished. Here's a tiny little dent there that is inconsequential, nearly cosmetic. And so yeah, I'm going to get to work on this neck. I want this neck to be very good, of course. I think I'm going to go ahead and move the body out of the way. That way I don't get any stuff on it. All my tools going everywhere. And I might go ahead and move the camera slightly to try to pick up a little more of this. But yeah, I'm interested in old computers and stuff. I didn't know about the Plus4 until much later, after having the Commodore 64 and playing it a bunch and really liking it. They're fragile. the systems are notoriously fragile. Because when they made the power supply, the original power supply for the C64, and and then later the Plus 4, they were made in a bad way, where once the power supply fails, it actually sends too high a voltage to the system, and that's how many people's Commodore 64s and Plus 4s ended up dying. There are also other problems though, because the Plus 4 has a faster processor, and it has something in it called a TED chip that does all the work. The TED chip, it runs too hot, and so they fail. So what I'll be doing with my Plus 4 later is taking it apart and putting some thermal paste and a heat sink on the chips to keep them cool. Okay, now back to guitars. I like this to be rounded, but I'm going to go ahead and leave this the way it is because it's really, really beautiful. It looks like signs of more than one piece used in building the neck. Let's check for rattling or loose nuts here. It's okay to have a tiny bit of motion with the middle of the tuning machine. That doesn't necessarily mean that the nut is loose at all. That's just how they are. So that's good. All those are tight. Nut looks and feels good. It's polished. Good slots. I noticed that it's right on the top of the first fret. A little bit dirty, but still good. And I don't think that's twisted at all. I'm going to check for relief now that it's off with my 24 3/4 scale, Gibson scale. I think there might still be. That's odd too, because I didn't notice much, if any, relief. But now, yeah, no, I think it's flat. Let's see, up around the 8th fret, I might be seeing, yeah, some relief. Oh man, I really hope that's not indicative of a twist in the neck. I don't think it is though. It's a nice piece of wood right there. Sharp all the way down. Sharp, 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 sharp. So I get to work on that. I don't know if I'm gonna try to buff this out, because there's this, you know, beautiful, clean, sealed, non-sticky paint covering. This might be something I need to just get in there and hit with a file really close so I don't mess it up. As much as I love to just grab that stuff and just sand down the whole thing, that would probably put minute scratches and little buffy, hashy, hazy marks along this nice clean black paint work and gloss work that's on there. Now the top of it doesn't have that, so this can be treated with my typical barbarian level polishing, and that's probably what I'll end up doing, is just polishing this down. First I'm going to take care of the edges of the frets. Not going to do level crown polish, I don't think it needs it, but I am going to do a polishing. It's going to get polished and shined up and cleaned up after the edges of the frets are dealt with. And I think it'll be good then. I just need to lower the bridge. We'll see. It could be that slight height difference is why the action was so high. Someone maybe got some buzz from it and then raised the action to eliminate buzz in crude setup fashion, and then so as I lower the action I might run into more, I don't know, it might be a good idea to level crown and polish all these frets just to get rid of that. So first I'm going to test the truss rod. I'm going to test out the truss rod just to see what it does. Okay, I've just given it a back and forth. Okay, a little bit of tightness. There we go. I'm going to let it sit for a while, and then I'm going to check it. So yeah, this slightest tweak, and I think it maybe got ever slightly flatter, and that is how I would want it to be. I'm going to go ahead and test this diamond file, even though it was seeming kind of weak when I used it before. I'm going to try it out. It's what I'm used to using. Has a nice flat edge. I don't want to hurt any of that beautiful gloss pattern on the edge, the work that's been done on here, so I'm just very carefully, wherever there's the edge there, I really don't want to hurt anything. I love this, how this neck looks. It's got a little bit of flavor to it, but for the most part, it looks great. So just right at the edge, I think that's got it. Yeah, I think that's smoothed that out pretty good. Just those two. This, I don't want to think this was weathering from 4 days in a truck, but I guess it might have been. I don't want to be intrusive and, you know, question this seller too much and ask if it had hanging frets before he sent it. There are enough points of interest on this instrument. The impact here, the dent here, which might not even be able to be seen, the dents on the top, to make me think that it's kind of a stretch to say it is like new. And I understand those things happen to like new instruments, sometimes in shipping and stuff, but when you have dents like that, like I said earlier, they should be disclosed with pictures during the sale. So if you're not disclosing pictures of dents and impacts and things like that, and you're claiming that an instrument is like new, then the buyer is likely to assume there are no visible dents or impacts on the instrument. So if I say like new, but then in the description I show pictures of scratches or dents or things that you're going to notice with the instrument, then of course that's different. You've seen it. But in this particular case, I expected this instrument to not have any dents or scratches or anything like that, impacts, because it was listed as like new. Now, he said he set it up. A setup can cost $100 or more depending on the amount of work that has to be put in it. In my opinion, this guitar was not set up. If somebody set it up, they didn't do it right. Setting up an instrument involves making it comfortable to play and have proper intonation, be able to be tuned properly. The action was too high. The frets are all sharp and hanging. Nearly every fret on the neck is sharp and hanging. There are impacts. There is a dip in the neck there, a tiny bit of damage on the neck. Some barely high frets, but still high frets. No, when I set up an instrument, I make sure that it plays comfortably and has nice, clean, polished frets. And now a fret job, of course, is different than a setup. You know what I mean? And if I do a setup and someone says, "Oh, I'm going to pay you whatever $100 for a setup," I might polish the frets quickly, just do a once over to shine them up. I might even go ahead and quickly get rid of any hanging frets, you know. But I'm not doing an entire level crown polish and then the whole spiel as a setup. So I get that, but you know, this was not a properly set up or like new instrument. This is what I would say is a used instrument. It's been played enough to leave some lasting marks on it. It was never set up properly. I can tell you that straight up. No one would have their instrument set up and have this much hanging frets, high fret spots, visible damage on the instrument, and then say, oh, this thing's like new. It's a like new instrument. It's like new if like new is actually used and damaged. And if I'm selling it like new and it has dents on it, you're going to see the dents before you buy it. Okay, I saw in the picture that it has dents. So now, either way though, the other option I had was a LP 100 from American Musical Corporation there. American Musical, what are they called? I don't know. They sell guitars and everything else. And they have $250 free shipping LP 100 in black and a couple other colored clear tops with wood veneer. And I wanted a black one. I still would have gotten this one instead just because it's supposed to be a higher quality instrument overall. But I still want to get the LP 100 in black. So that will be one of my future purchases. I might even get the same decal and put it on there, take off the scratch plate, replace the pickup rings to make it a more clean, even match. But yeah, no big whoop. It's still going to be good once I'm done with it. So, all's well that ends well. Okay. I am hitting the edges too as I go to try to make sure there's no sharp edges here. Seems like a really well-made neck. Just like super, super nice. Really like that. It's shiny. I love that, how shiny that gets. I mean, you can see here and see here. It's a lot of fun. One of my favorite things to do with these. So I'm actually going to tape the edges here all the way down the sides so that I can use this to hit the edges, because it's just going to be easier, it's going to do a better job, and then the tape will protect the finish. I don't want to scuff the finish too much. So as we can see, I've lined up some tape there right at the edge of the frets, all the way to the back. There we go, all the way to the front. This anywhere where there's that nice finish that we'll be interacting with. Don't want to ruin the finish, that's for sure. So now with the tape on, I can just I can really hit the edges of this. Don't have to worry about damaging the finish. And this stuff does a great job. It gets it soft and rounded. Then anywhere where I need to hit the edges of it with a file, then I can do that. And that looks very close though. Might go ahead and use the edge of this now. That works. it's considerably softer. Seems like a lot of the hang, and this is abnormal, is down closer to the first fret. Usually the most hang is up at the pocket. Like way down here, you get the really sharp, hangy clusters of little edges and sharpness. There's still a tiny bit of it, but it's considerably less, especially up here in the pocket. Yeah, it seems like it took care of it at the pocket, but there's still a little bit down at the bottom. So let's try to take care of that. Okay, we got the edges of the frets done. Frets are polished. Fretboard is polished. Even the nut got polished a little tiny bit. Still got the excuse me. Got the tape off of here. Let's get the tape off of here. I need to get more tape. That was actually, it was exactly enough to do this, and it was the last amount of tape that I have. So I should feel fortunate there. Some people reuse masking tape. I don't know how I can't do that. I don't know how to do that. Okay. Very satisfying peeling off tape. I don't know. I think the world is screwed. You know, we're wusses. People are wusses, right? I mean, seriously. We're all like frilly pansies compared to the way people used to be. People used to walk everywhere, and half the time they didn't even have a map. They were like, "Well, what way do we go?" And they're like, "Well, what way is north?" And they like point some direction and just keep going. You know, I'm starving. I didn't bring any food. Well, I'll be right back. Then they go and grab a bunch of leaves off of some plant, and then, here you go. You know, we were rustic and I don't know, tougher. We were tougher. We were a sterner stock, as Optimus Prime would say. So, this, I think it looks great. Of course, shiny, pretty, with the nice, no sharp edges now, shiny frets, no little cut pieces or anything like that. And I'm going to go ahead, let's see if I can't bring this up a hair, and go ahead and lemon oil this fretboard. Now, I did not level anything because I didn't think that it really needed it. I didn't think there was enough of any, you know, high frets to warrant doing that. But maybe it will. After I set the action up and it's the way that I want it to be, you know, it might be a situation where I need to hit a couple of frets. Of course, I just do this little through it while it's getting its little flow on, because it takes a couple seconds for this. And I've seen people just take the cap right off and just dump it on a rag, and that's fine. That's the same exact thing as what anyone using a lemon infused furniture polish on their neck or fretboard would do. I just love the smell of this stuff, and I love what it does. It does matter, and I've heard some people say that treating your neck means nothing. That, you know, that they've had endless guitars, they've never treated the neck, they've never had any problems from it and everything. Then I've also heard people say you need to treat your neck, I don't know, several times. And then I've heard some people say treat your neck once a year. Like, just check it out once a year and just see if it needs it, and if anywhere in between. But I've also, you know, noticed that when these really super smart, like master builders, make something like a Les Paul or something like that, they usually treat the fret right after they're done. And I mean, I know it does something. It works down into the wood, and it kind of like strengthens and prepares it and cleans it and stuff. It rejuvenates the wood. And I've seen necks that were, that appeared to be very, very dry to me. But, the level at which you're actually looking at a neck and considering it, and its dryness is impacting playability, and, any kind of factors come into play is up and down. Who knows how that is? If you really must invest in this stuff and constantly treat a neck, or add lemon oil to your grocery list or whatever. I know that the lacquered maple necks, of course, maple necks, just any maple neck, you're not going to treat it really. You'll polish it up a little bit or slick it up a little. If it's got a layer of sealant or a clear coat on your fretboard, of course you're not treating it because there's no wood there. That's a layer of hardened plastic sealant lacquer kind of stuff. There's nothing there to treat. But this is wood. This is just wood. This is wood, and wood changes and breathes and contracts and expands and dries and hardens and softens and all that other great stuff. It chips. And so yeah, of course, you probably should be treating any rosewood or dark wood. Now there are like the fake particle black stuff, maybe on a Chibson or something, and it's ebony, but it's not ebony. I don't know that is even wood. It could be some kind of, weird particulate that's been like glued and kind of fused together and cut into neat little pieces. Maybe that stuff you don't ever have to or don't ever want to treat. That's a distinct possibility. This is not fake, I can tell. This is a real wood fretboard. It's not fake ebony. It's not some kind of glued particle. It's a slab of prepared wood to be a fretboard. And so yeah, it probably could use treated every once in a while, and it may have never been treated. I mean, if the expertise of the purchaser is, by example, let's just consider the setup that it supposedly had, where it had all hanging frets. Literally nothing was set up on the instrument from what I could tell, other than it was mildly in tune. So that level of attention to detail. Hey, I'm setting up this guitar. There, I've tuned it. It's set up. Probably equates to fretboard has never been treated in the life of the first owner of the instrument. Being the second owner of the instrument and someone who has learned and does a lot of hokey kind of caveman ritual stuff, cleaning and preparing and sanding and polishing and all kinds of stuff on the instrument, I'm going to treat the neck. It's just, in my opinion, it's just one of those things you really should do. And what does it do for it? It keeps it real. It's like it gets a drink and it kind of settles in and works in, and it probably affects how the neck absorbs moisture or how it dries out, and it definitely affects how it plays and feels and stuff. And I really like maple necks, and you don't really treat a maple neck. It's a different kind of wood. It's a little bit different. But these rosewoods are arguably more authentic, classical, original, from the time of the lute, or whatever the guitar evolved from. They're called luthiers because of the lute. So the lute that is the precursor to the guitar is just arguably less advanced, easier to play, almost like a lute for dummies. And so yes, this is a arguably more original style wood for an instrument, a stringed instrument. But then today with maple necks and stuff, maybe they don't need any treatment and there's no way to treat them or whatever. I've never treated a maple neck. So there we go. That's very, very nice. It's relatively thoroughly saturated. I've got to get the edge of this. I'm just not happy with the edges here. There we go. All right. So I've jabbered on a whole bunch, and maybe I was totally wrong. Who knows? Maybe you never have to treat a neck no matter what, and some rich guy's just, he's right next to the, 10 hot dog guy standing next to the 8 hot dog bun guy, and they're all just snickering in a corner going, oh, we got them. They think that they need, we're getting their money. Whatever. It must do something. People who make furniture are like, no, you gotta treat it and then do stuff. Yeah, same thing, right? Wait. Okay. The neck is treated. It's soaked up the lemon oil. I've wiped it down. I've also cleaned and somewhat polished the body, and I got rid of some of the residue from the top layer of the decal. So now I'm going to put the neck back on, and we're going to restring the instrument. This neck is in the pocket. It fits perfect in an almost scary way. Like, wow. Probably one of the most perfectly fitting necks I've ever seen. Someone did that and was like, perfect. It is. That's perfect. That's what you want. That's definitely what you want right there. You don't want it so tight that it's getting crazy, and you don't want it loose where you can fit a couple business cards down the side of it, So. All right, let's go ahead and hold that tight. Be too tight, but you definitely don't want it to be like funky loose, because that could be a rise or a dip on the neck. So I just go until it's right there at the summit. Okay, and all right, we're getting shiny and clean looking now. I've got the this is from a Epiphone standard, which is the slash November burst. They've said it's essentially just kind of a souped up standard without a scratch plate. So that's this. I replaced the posts because the posts on the other were slightly wide, and then that's put back for whatever, maybe another project, something like that. I've also got some new strings. The old strings were new, I think, but because I took them off and they were a little funky on the ends, I'm going to go ahead and just put brand new fresh strings on here. Why not? So the neck is on. I didn't do level crown polish, I just did polish, and I also edged the board. The board is smooth now. It's really, really good. Okay. And I polished the body a little bit. Went ahead and, like I said, there was residue from that top layer for the decal, and I used some alcohol and paper towel or a napkin and folded it up and got really, really close and got rid of any kind of schmutz, sticky stuff around the edge of the decal. And I'm going to go ahead and restring this instrument, and then we're going to test it out and tune it up and everything and try to get it intonated and check the heights I think the intonation was good with this bridge on the other instrument. So if the measurements are the way they're supposed to be, they're the same, then this should be intonated out the box. Hopefully it will be. And then we'll deal with the heights to try to get the strings right where I want them. And if everything checks out, the neck's good, the heights are good, intonation's good, it plays well, I'll put the truss cover back on and we'll call it a day. Now the two little dents on the top I haven't fixed yet, and I'm going to go ahead and save that for another day. It's just a couple blobs of super glue, let it dry, sand it down, color it, and hopefully it's much less apparent. I might even do that with the neck. I'm not going to rule that out because what's there isn't bad at all, but it could, I guess, chip and crack and get bigger or nastier in time. So this stop piece is not like the newer stop pieces. So the newer stop pieces have this really keen little attachment that I gotta say that I like, that holds the stop piece in place while you string your instrument. So it's better than this. This is a cheaper one, and it's based on the same old design. It's going to kind of want to fall off as I'm working with it. So I'm going to go ahead and put the low E and high E on, and then that will get that stop piece nice and balanced so that it's not chattering and falling off and stuff while I restring the instrument. Alright, it's in tune, new bridge is on. Action's still a tiny bit high, I need to adjust that, but it strums well, it plays well, the frets are taken care of. The decal looks great, I love how it looks. The tuning machines are pretty good, they're not bad. The nut is cut pretty low, but I think this 2 guitars I've just gotten where the nut was rather low. This is an arguably better bridge, but I don't know. I mean, it might not be, but I like it. It's holding up well. So yeah, and there's more relief on the neck now than there was. So that's one thing I've noticed. After the work on the neck, I guess I must have loosened it up or something, but it has definitely got a slight bit of relief in it now. So I'll either lower the bridge and see how it sets with the relief, or remove the relief and then see how much lower the string action gets and then maybe set the bridge. That's probably more likely what I'll do. Because I like my neck to be kind of flat, but not, it doesn't have to be ridiculous, but this is relief. There is relief on here now. And just the ever tiniest bit of space. This isn't this nut isn't cut as low as that Telecaster I just worked on. But yeah, the neck's looking great. So there's been a kind of a slight upgrade with this newer bridge that's from the standard. I don't know if it's really any different than the standard bridge, but I think the materials it's made of might be slightly better. So maybe it will last longer. Now I'm seeing some Gibsons with the intonation adjustment screws in the back and some in the front. And I'm pretty sure these were in the front on the November burst, and so I'm pretty sure they're where they're supposed to be. But there's really no guarantee on that. I guess that maybe the guy put them on different, but I'm pretty sure this is where they go. Alright, so next thing, I'm just going to adjust things a little bit here and there. I'm going to go ahead and adjust the truss rod to try to take a tiny, this is such a tiny amount of relief though. And if I lower this, yeah, that's looking really good right there. So yeah, actually I think I'm going to go ahead and, like I said before, just lower lower the action ever so slightly. Now, because I'm removing tension from the string, I'm going to leave it the way it is. If you're adding tension to string by raising the bridge, you want to loosen all the strings, of course. So I'll be relieving tension, and this will lower the strings. I'm going to look. And here, that's looking pretty low. I need to, I don't know, I don't like measuring this stuff. I like going by feel. I like to have my hands on the instrument and actually go by feel, because the final height of the strings is going to be by feel. And I can feel with my fingers any kind of, you know, differences in height between the strings, and the way it feels for me is going to be a certain way. So I already know, for me, the best way to go. Now, of course, you want to measure them occasionally. You want to, you know, pay attention to that. This looks very close. Like, I think that's good. Now I'm gonna look here on the other side, and yeah, I think it could go down a hair. So again, oh wait a minute, yeah. Did I raise that? No, I lowered it. So we're gonna go this way. Yep, and that's lowering. That's very close. Okay, I want the action to be close. I want to see how close I can get it. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and tune it, see how buzzy and rattly it is, and might make some other fine adjustments. Okay, she's intonated. I've stretched the strings. I did have to move the saddles a lot. This was very difficult to get the action where I want. I'm still a little, there's still a little bit of, I don't know, it's not as, doesn't ring out as much as I want around the middle, but it's good enough. It's definitely good enough. So I'm going to go ahead and get the truss rod cover back on, and we ready to give it a test jam. I got so much dust and particulates and stuff in my home that black stuff just gets full really quick. This, I cleaned it off and polished it, and there's just little specks all over the place. Pretty much no matter what I do, I can't avoid the little specks. Okay. And now this might be a candidate for a roller bridge. I know because the threads match, I can easily drop a roller bridge on this, and that will help sustain. As far as the frets, I may need to do a fret job to this, because I think up in the higher frets they just need to be lower. For how flat this neck is, and how flat it can be, I mean, right now it's got relief, but for how flat it could be, if I could bring those last frets near the pocket down low, then I think this would be better. But right now I'm surprised there's almost no buzzing at all in bar chords, like rock chords. So there, that's on, and as I give it a little strum here, there, no buzzing. So next up, we'll hook it up to the flamethrower and give it a test. Whew. I play the same songs over and over again just so that people can maybe register in their minds, if they watch this, the difference in the way they sound. These pickups sound different than the other pickups, sound different than the others, even though it's always through the same PA, always the same effect, always the same pedal. That's different. Now I did notice that there's like some nasty on the knobs. I don't think it's damage. I think it's legit like human finger nasty. So I'll probably go down here and clean them off with some alcohol or something. I'm hoping that that's all it is, and it's not like cracked, broken knobs, because these are actually pretty cool knobs. I hope they're not broken. And as you can see, the decal is on there now. And this guitar is amazing. It's now that it's set up, I mean, it needed a complete, actual, real setup. Great intoned. It's like intonation is great on it. It's like sometimes when your intonation is close, you'll get like certain strings maybe not vibing as well. This sounds great up and down. So like. Bright. I love the bridge pickup. This is a different bridge if you've been paying attention. This is the, I guess, nicer, probably better metal bridge from the Les Paul Standard that I swapped out for roller bridge, so this was waiting to go in something else. I really need to sit down and go through all my songs and just kind of let it all come back, because I have so many songs I've come up with, and then just like, I don't know, they're all somewhere, and just bringing them back out. And it's fun to have a drummer and a keyboard player, you know, and someone to jam with, but when you're all alone and all you've got is a drum machine, things can get pretty boring. Sanded a lot of this. I got rid of most of the little impact that was up here at the top of the neck near the nut. It really just needed a lot of stuff, you know, a lot of neck treated, the neck was clean, the frets were polished thoroughly, the edges of the frets were completely done. These guys are soft now. Let's see, the new strings, I went ahead and put back the old strings. I don't know, maybe if I break a string or something, or need a string, or maybe my son wants to put some strings on a guitar or something, he can have that, because they were essentially new strings. I don't know what they were. But yeah, I like these ones. And did the decal, I polished the body thoroughly. And the one thing left to do is clean the schmutz off these buttons, or the knobs. I really hope that it's not like cracks on the plastic of the knobs. But, because that would be like, you know, definitely not like new. If your knobs are cracked, that's not like new. course, the frets are super, super smooth now. I just love that feeling of freshly polished, buffed out frets. So yeah, the guitar is amazing now. I love it. I'll probably play this all the freaking time, just because, you know, it's a $200 guitar. It's got amazing graphics on it now. The neck is pretty much perfect now. I love it completely. I don't know, maybe tuners. I'll put like classic style tuners on it or something, or just maybe locking tuners, better tuners. So far the machines aren't like, you know, screaming cheap and nasty at me, but just it would look better and maybe be cooler. I'd probably like to put a custom truss rod cover on this one too. There's a guy on eBay where you can get any font that you want, and I found this font called Drumnick, and it's really cool. It's like I don't know, like looks northern or something, like maybe Celtic or something. I don't know. It's like an English letter font, but the way it's arranged is all like top to bottom, side to side, and it looks really, really cool. So I was going to put my last name up there in Drumnick font. I asked him, I said, "You do Drumnick?" He said, "Yeah." Then he offered me like a discount, but in between him offering me a discount, I went ahead and got the custom made one for the other guitar. So this one would be for this guitar. And I'll just have a collection of truss rod covers that say things like Studio LT and with the slash face on them and stuff. I don't know, maybe someone wants those, but you know, it would probably be better to put them back in case the instruments are sold or inherited or whatever. But yeah, the action on this is excellent now. It really turned out great. I went ahead and, like I said, it took a lot of work. It took a lot of tweaking and fine-tuning of this bridge to get it where I want it. There's a little bit of snappiness at the new octave, but look, there's no buzzing. Well, only if you overpick, you know. Very, very nice. Just incredible, really great guitar. I think these were about 300 or so, or maybe more when they first came out. So I was really happy to get one. the whole FedEx trauma made me want to make damn sure that I don't choose FedEx as a delivery place again. I even went on Reddit and explained the whole situation, and I got a whole bunch of backwards and twisted conversations that you wouldn't believe. So if you go on Reddit and look up FedEx is the place to party, then you'll read, and I've gotten like 7,000 views on it. It's like the most I've ever gotten on anything on Reddit. And I basically ended up being in an argument with people that were probably drivers or used to be drivers about whether it's okay to boom super loud music in a delivery truck or leave the back door open on the truck. And I made sure to tell these people, look, I don't have a problem with a driver of a delivery truck listening to music, but it might be more professional to turn the music down or off when you're going to deliver a package. And you assuredly do not want to take off down the street full hit with the back door open on a large delivery truck. You know, that's coming from a person who used to be a professional private courier, and I've driven mini box trucks, and I've driven hundreds of miles everywhere with packages that were important enough to use the overpriced rates of a private courier, like life-saving medicine for elderly people in nursing homes, and like advertisement blueprints and movie poster prints and stuff to go to printing factories, and just lots and lots of stuff. I think at one time I was transporting tomato irradiator cages to rolled gold, or no, what was it, like gold tomato, I don't know, whatever company tomatoes got gold in the name, I don't know. I've been all over the place, so I know. Obviously, anybody should know you don't go driving down the street in a delivery truck, a large delivery truck with it. Now, I understand if you're in a little tiny van and you've got a sliding door on the side and you are going to 2 or 3 houses on the same block, that's different. You're rolling along, it's comfortable. But, you know, if you're in a delivery truck with the back door open and you stop at a stop sign on the south side in Richmond, get ready for somebody that you don't see to take something that you don't know about out the back of that truck until you find out it ain't there and it's your ass. You know, I mean, it's just stupid. It's all around stupid. And this guy, it just made me feel like, why did he do that? Because he stopped right in front of my house, right at the time, it was about 6 o'clock in the evening. I'm thinking he must be delivering my guitar. And then he took off without delivering it with the back door open in the vehicle. And he had music blasting. So that was a fun conversation. At the end of the conversation, I had somebody call me a boomer, which I'm not. I'm a Generation Xer, a Gen Xer, not a boomer. And he also told me to just go buy from local stores. And so just to put it into perspective, when chatting with other Redditors in the FedEx Reddit page, where FedEx is paying attention and FedEx workers and patrons and customers are interacting, the end of my conversation was just go to local stores. Yeah. So, yeah, it was a lot of fun. You should go read it, honestly. I encourage everyone to go read what happened to get this guitar to my house, what it was. And it ended up being, like I said, over 3.5 days late. And it wasn't just it was 3.5 days late. It was 3.5 days late where every single day they said it was on a truck out for delivery and that it was going to be here between a specific time. The specific time always went past it, always got told it would be delivered before 9 on eBay, before 8 on the FedEx site, and then it was never delivered on any of those 3 days prior to today. And today it finally got delivered, but there's quite a bit of punch drunk on the box, it looks like it got kicked around a little bit. But happy to say the guitar survived, and it's been resurrected, so to speak. It got played a little bit. You can tell someone played this guitar a little bit, but not to hurt the guy's feelings or whoever it was, but this wasn't set up. And it said in the advertisement it was set up. He set it up himself. This thing had the most hanging frets that I've had in a guitar in years. It had a nasty body. It has dents in the top. It has a small dent on the back of the neck. It has a small impact on the neck near the nut. Yeah, I don't think it was like new, and with that statement, like new, came no warnings or pictures or anything like that to say, hey, there's a couple of little bumps here, or there's a couple little scratches here, stuff like that. But all in all, it polished up super nice. It was intended to be a platform for the Decal, and that's what it is. I'm very happy with that. I think it looks great. And I plan on doing more cool stuff like that with other instruments. So yeah, I really like this guitar. It's going to be a fun one to play. It's an Epiphone Studio LT. It's got the baby belly. It's got a decal on it now that's really beautiful. Cool looking knobs, all black theme. It's got the zebra pups. Excellent neck. It's a bolt-on with recessed bolts and kind of an angle on it there. I love it. I love the guitar. It's a rock guitar. This is one of those Les Pauls. It's like, no, this guitar is meant to rock. This guitar is meant to make. It's got a great rock sound, a really excellent rock sound. Now I'm using a GNX Genetics workstation with the best presets I've ever heard on a pedal. I'm using a PA system that's been kind of tweaked to have some pretty high output. So your results may vary, but this is my first Zebra Pups, and as far as I can remember anyway, and I really like them. I can totally recommend these pickups. They're nice, they're loud, great sound, and I could recommend a Studio LT. I mean, if you can find one for a couple $100 like I did, it's definitely a bargain. And also, I wouldn't shy away from the LP100, even though I haven't bought one yet. I know that they're very, very similar instruments. The LP100 has a plate on the bolt-on. It's a little bit thicker in the pocket. It has two contrasting, slightly different pickups than this, and it does have the carved top. There are 3 different varieties. It's all black, but it also has the scratch plate. It has white accents, so it has white pickup ring. It has a white scratch plate. They're aged white, and it has the aged white poker chip. Same kind of neck. I don't know about the tuning machines. I thought the tuning machines might have been a little different, but they're probably the same. And this is going to be one of my new favorite guitars. I can already tell. And I might put the standard in its case for a while, just so that it doesn't get anything done to it. Doesn't get scratched or too dusty or crack or chip or anything. Just put it in its little casket, even though I don't usually do that with instruments. I had considered hanging it on the wall next to the other LP, then just have 2 LPs hanging on the wall, but I just don't want to hurt any of these guitars, and that one especially being my most valuable instrument right now. So it's good to have a little little bastard to play on, where the pretty boy gets to sit and just be pretty. But yeah, this thing, it turned into a beast machine. Pretty good. And it could have been worse, of course. This could have come in a karate chop box with a bunch of broke stuff in it, and it could have never got here and be in some guy's room somewhere that I don't even know about. It could have went back or forth or whatever, all manner. So yeah, worst case scenario, it obviously would have been stolen and or destroyed. And I'd say it was, it's okay. It was late, but it still got here. But yeah, I've had FedEx mess up a few times to the point where I'm just wondering what's going on with that. And some guy told me in the comments, that they're the least paid workers, that they have the highest rate of turnover, that they have the hottest vehicles with no air conditioning, that they have a lot of people that just quit and then new people that aren't trained, and that a lot of things get looked over. They have some guy was explaining how they often get packages put in giant piles, and then the piles never get sorted through, so people's stuff is sometimes like 3 weeks to a month late or more. Basically a nightmare situation for a delivery service to be in. And this is off topic, but I think they should raise their rates, scan their employees better to be more competitive, and keep it real. No more booming music, no more leaving the doors open and stuff. And But on that note, though, I just watched a video today. Like YouTube knows what I just went through on Reddit and what I just went through. Like AI, the mother brain knows what I just went through. So now a whole bunch of UPS versus USPS versus FedEx delivery service versus this or that delivery service videos have now all popped up, and FedEx is always the worst one. It's like every time he shows a video and it's versus, he rates them on whether they walk through his grass, because he has a clearly defined pathway with little lighting on it that you're obviously supposed to take, and whether they set the package down properly, whether they throw it or something, and just how they handle the whole situation. And like all the Amazon drivers took the pathway, they set down the packages carefully, they took pictures of the packages to verify, they walked away carefully, they handled their vehicles professionally, they always shut their sliding doors and side doors, they got in, they drove away slowly. All of the FedEx ones, most of them came from the wrong direction and parked facing the wrong way, so they were on the wrong side of the road. They either walked on the grass or they walked like they were some kind of like dude that just got kicked in the head by a horse. Like seriously, like a staggered, broken walk of a drunken, sad man. Like honestly, all of them threw the packages. None of them set the package down. Every single one of them threw the packages onto the porch. And it was just a lot of like life-hate, broken swagger with complete disrespect mixed in. UPS was somewhere in the middle, but usually pretty good. But the Amazon drivers were 100% pro. Like they were dressed in nice uniforms. They did great. I don't know if that is a reflection of pay rate. Like maybe Amazon drivers get paid more than UPS drivers, who get paid more than FedEx drivers. But the FedEx driver, he looked like crap. I mean, he was walking like he was in excruciating pain, or he had like, I don't know, been kicked in the head by a large animal at least a few times in his life. And he looked like, if there is a look for it, he looked like someone that doesn't care about anything or anyone and hates his life, and the least thing in the world he cares about is bending over slightly so your package doesn't get destroyed. So yeah, it was and of course that's all popping up now that I'm typing on a totally different website about my experience with FedEx, and somehow YouTube knows, and it's popping up tons of videos about all the trouble everyone else is having with them. Anyway, back on the subject. Buy an Epiphone. I'm not sponsored by anyone or anything, and have tens of viewers, and don't make any money from YouTube. So. Thanks for watching.